in this gate. So shout out to Target, I think, for those gates. Those are really great. I'll try to take a picture of it and probably post it so y'all can see it. And she's in there, and Satasia is just having a fit. So I'll be back. I'm gonna shut the door, but I'm gonna make it quick because I'm gonna make sure that I do attend to our Brand's Faces owner's daughter, Satasia. But for now, her door is open and it's just a gate, so that there she'll just do that. Then y'all get to have the noise blocked out, so it's not really a disturbance or a distraction. And so for that, I apologize. She is getting ready to lay down, so she's probably getting sleepy. All right, I apologize for that, and I'm gonna just have a few minutes to myself and figure out some things. So, and I will have some water. So ladies, make sure you have something to drink close by you. So the very first one as to why wedding businesses as a niche is lucrative, it's because this business is romanticized. So having a person who sees you as their romantic partner or their romantic significant other in their love life is really why this business is as lucrative as this wedding businesses and niches are, because it's so romanticized. And the fact that weddings are so romanticized in general is really where we look into why in particular speaking, this niche is as lucrative as we romanticize it to necessarily come off as, and as we necessarily romanticize that this niche is. Because for one, we all love romance. We all are looking for our significant others to romanticize life with. So that's why their businesses is as lucrative as they are. That's a really big market. That's a really big goal, dream, and ambition to fulfill, and to constantly feel like people are willing to have these goals thwarted becomes an issue. And that's where you get into some of the lesser entities who fail to carry out those higher ambitions and goals, even in the wedding business, because we know now that's why this business is so lucrative. And then you have the fact for number two is this niche is based off women's childhood dreams. So think about it. I mean, well, really think about women, in particularly speaking, because as you're seeing here, I'm a Black young lady, female entrepreneur, businesswoman. Like and subscribe to the video, and of course, we start young. This is just what it is. We start young, dreaming of that grand big day. So it starts in our childhood, and we are not supposed to forget the women of our childhood. We are supposed to grow up and marry them. So again, this explains why this business is as lucrative as this business is, because we carry those dreams as we get older. At least we're supposed to carry these dreams. And when we do carry these dreams to the completion period of this dream actually coming into fruition, then we're at the altar and we have the wedding planners, and thus now lucrative is what is a proper term. And now as we carry those out and they are in fruition, this is why this business is as lucrative as this business is. And so very true. And what's even worse about this one is that we sketch out what our dreams fulfilled wedding gown looks like. We do this. We have the picture to show at our sit down. We have our checklist, and we can even necessarily, so to speak, go back to what that feels like as a child. We can go back to what that feels like as being 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Young love starts really young. But at that time, we're too young to actually provide and cough up all of the money that's necessary. So we have no choice but to wait until we're at a more lucrative stage and state in our lifespan development. And by the time that we do that, now that's why we're so lucrative. It's years in the making, and we have no choice but to execute. So again, number 1 is this business is romanticized. And then 2 is the niche is based off women's childhood dreams. It's only 2 seconds for sexes. And that means that there's only 2 sexes and women dominate. As Beyonce say, who run the world? Girls. So of course we make this business extremely lucrative. Okay. And then number 3 is this business makes the masculine. No. Oh, okay. Let's go. Well, mask. And you know what? I want us to actually really articulate this. So number 3 is this business mask the masculine provider role. And think about this for a second. What's the purpose of masking that type of behavior? Because it's so difficult to achieve. But when we do achieve that particular grandeur of an ambition, why? Because that's where the lucrative process of this business comes in at. Men hold the key to so many of these resources that women want, that women are after. And not necessarily, so to speak, that we're after necessarily what's in men's pockets, because that's not true either. What's ultimately true is that women need showers, women need food, women need places to sleep and to live. When you want a partner to return to for the romantic date nights, you have to learn that women are going to, in order to come back to them, you're going to have to provide places for them to necessarily find their housed. That takes lucrative means, because women are considered so high maintenance. But when you pull back those layers, there's an understanding as to why women are as high maintenance as we are. Just to upkeep hair, I have to have pillowcases that are of enough grandeur where I can retain and remain retention in how we have allowed our hair to preserve its entire lusciousness. Now, when men get to enjoy these moments, then that's what the provider role is about. So that's why number 3 deals with the manly side of providing. Okay, number 4. So this particular business in the weddings is based off lovers. So usually when we come together, your lovers, you're romanticize your lover, you're romanticizing your lover's thoughts and ideas, their form, their beauty, and you're cherishing this type of thought enough that you are entering into who's the best caterer or who's the best event planner. And that's why the wedding seasons and businesses are as lucrative as they are. And again, I want to reiterate one other thing, that lovers is a form of love. So love is another positive emotion. You have to realize that love is the greatest emotion of all. And it's a really positive force that drives the wedding business because it's so positive. It's definitely a PMA. So that's another reason why this particular niche is really that lucrative, because it's such a positive force. And if you like, so let's say for an example, you're not sure why your cousins and them may have not ever really got a chance to experience this. Do they ever express love to you? So if they, well, necessarily, so to speak, because we know we all got them. So when the answer is no, then you can understand that, oh, well, that explains why they're poor. They're not necessarily going to be able to provide that same loving nature to not even just you and you're their family, first, second, third, fourth generations and plus. And so why are they going to take that same energy and give it into their significant other and lover? They're not. So you may kind of sort of realize that there's a distance and a gap that begins to grow. And it's because love and the fear of love are not driving the businesses like the other emotions are. Love goes this way. Fear of love allows us to see how they're really kind of sort of love and then fear of love. They kind of just go naturally their own separate ways, and that's why lovers that is why lovers drive the wedding business lucrativeness. Okay. It's their feelings towards one another, which is their emotions of love, hence lovers. It's positive. So the positive emotion of being lovers drives this particular business to actually be quite lucrative. That's why. Okay. And then fifth, last but not least, the least of them all, but definitely is just as grand as the first four. The fifth one is this business is definitely pleasure based. So this business is going to be something that's not really geared towards anything else besides the pleasure of food, lingerie, beauty, clothing, our gowns. So that's examples as to our pleasure hormone is just off the charts. If it brings us pleasure, because that's the natural state, cheerfulness, bliss, pleasure, having those emotions, love, being lovers. Lovers are attracted towards one another because their beauty and form brings the other a sense, our sensory sense that the attraction there is pleasurable. It brings them pleasure. And therefore, that's another reason why that business is so lucrative. And so when you think about the lingerie on our honeymoon, we have to have the pieces. And so it drives those lucrative forces. When we are looking for food, I'm a huge foodie. Like I said, I can never have caught in COVID because I just adore food. I was just watching Bubble Guppies the other day with our daughter, Satasia, and all I kept thinking about was, oh, this ham is so delicious. I never thought anything else. So I understand why food is lucrative. It's so lucrative, and especially into dealing with weddings. Weddings are so fun and pleasurable and memorable, and they are lucrative and quite costly. And